Hi, Claire Huddleston from Transactive Systems. We are an API global payments platform. We are also regulated in the UK as an e-money institution as well as in Europe. I am going to say the B word, that is just to cover us for next year. So collectively, we have over 60 years payments experience within our team. And the reason why the platform was built is to was behind open banking and PSD2, as well as businesses crying out for a better banking service, as well as access to instant payments. So what is the problem that Transactive solves? Business having to have multiple global bank relationships. In today's market, if a UK company or even a European company wants to send a payment to Australia, they would use their local bank, and their local bank will send that 9 times out of 10 via the SWIFT network. If that local bank does not have a banking relationship with Bendigo in Australia, it has to go through 1, maybe 2, or maybe 3 different banks. At that point, each one of those banks have taken a little slice of the pie. You send £100, £75 gets to the designated beneficiary. Sometimes it actually could only be a 0 that actually ends up in that bank, in that beneficiary's bank account. Having to have multiple banking platforms, again in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same around Europe, you have to use a different bank platforms to actually submit files and send those out into the payments network. In England, you've got Lloyd's Link, HSBC.net, Barclays.net, Bankline. They've all got different file formats. They've also all, generally, 9 times out of 10, got manual processes. So if you're using these platforms and decide to change banks, your IT department is going to love you because they're going to have to change what's happening in their own back office system. If, again, you're not using the banking platforms, but you're using software to enable these payments, what that will mean to the businesses is that you actually have 2 layers of cost, the banking costs and also the software and maintenance costs. Also, pricing costs for cross-border payments. Again, I've already mentioned that each bank takes a slice of the pie as it's moving forward. So just looking at that and looking at the antiquated legacy batch systems, Transactive was built to actually solve some of these issues. You have access to instant payments in UK, Europe, and US. You also have one single API, one single platform that connects to settlement schemes around the world. And you also have virtual IBANs, whether that's for one IBAN that you require or multiple IBANs. To enable you to send and receive payments, so simplifying the whole process. We also need to understand as a business our competition out there. So we have the retail banks, so we understand that they're not necessarily frictionless onboarding.
Thank you very much, Claire. Sorry, time's up.
That's fine.
So now we'll start the Q&A. You ready? Okay. So 2 minutes are starting now.
Yes, but I would like to hear about the competition, so you can...
Yeah, so on the competition, I've obviously mentioned the banks. So, you know, I don't know, most businesses today, to open up a bank account could take 8 to 10 weeks to actually open up a bank account. From that perspective, it also takes weeks to be able to start transacting. So that, from a competition perspective, we have frictionless onboarding. Our application process is very simple from a KYC and AML perspective. We can actually get those accounts open quite instantly. Mm-hmm. Other PSPs are in the market, so we have other PSPs that can do similar to what we do today, but they don't necessarily have access to multi-currency accounts. So as I say, today we are looking at the UK, we can do Euro, and we are looking at the US in Q1 next year. And then we'll be able to do FX across those platforms as well. So from that perspective, we're leapfrogging some of our competition, enabling us to open up the market.
Continuing this topic, do you have direct competition?
Direct competition could be the banks, could be SWIFT, could be, you know, in the UK there are similar companies like Modular, but again, they're very UK-centric. Whereas where we see ourselves is we want to be that global payment service. We're not trying to be a bank, we're not pretending to be a bank, but what we are trying to do is facilitate payments in and payments out in the most simplest form and within 10 seconds.
Tell us something more about your team. Why you think it's the appropriate team to pull us off?
The development team were the ones that came up with the idea. So they've been in the payments platform, payments industry for 20 years. They're based over in Canada. Myself, I've been in the payments industry for 20 years. I started in the software world working alongside the banks. So I've kind of seen that side. I'm now kind of on the other side of the fence and actually see where we can provide businesses a benefit to just using our type of service.
Okay.